Order. Stand for the pledge, if you please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Tenant meeting, water shut off. Don't see anybody. Do you expect anybody?
I don't expect anybody, no.
Okay.
At least nobody called.
Okay. If they show, we'll get to them. Amendments to the agenda.
I was hoping we could move Lyle Jepson and his...
All over that.
Okay. Thank you. That's all for me.
Anybody else?
No.
This is working out well. Approval of the minutes October 15th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th as written.
I'll second that.
Additions, deletions, corrections. All those in favor?
Aye. Did a good job there.
You have no idea how many times I read that over this time.
Yeah, we've been beating up on you a couple of weeks.
No, you
now.
did this once and I deserved it.
Okay. 5 minutes for public comment. John?
Yes, as of last time I was here, I was concerned about the wrongful arrest of myself conducted by Officer Tyler Duell. I'm wondering, is there going to be any disciplinary action or investigation into his conduct in conjunction with the wrongful arrest?
We're letting that go, work its way through the process. And that's where we're at.
Okay, because I still see him out patrolling the streets. I mean, I just trying to avoid a discrimination lawsuit, as my mother and I were firefighters, and we saved a patient's life. To this day, Mr. Gunter, the fire commissioner, does not know my side of the story, nor does the board know my side of the story, and I'm still terminated. I would hope that saving a life and wrongful arrest, one would carry more weight and more meaningful action being taken to avoid a discrimination lawsuit. I mean, you're a future, what are you running for, senator, sir?
Yep. What's that got to do with anything here? Let's keep it.
I'm just hoping that the future senator would understand and would be willing to avoid something like that and take the corrective actions as necessary.
We're letting that run through the process. There's a process. And that's what's happening at this point.
There will be, nothing will happen to Officer Duell. There is no investigation.
Okay. No, we're not doing anything
No.
about that.
Thank you.
So it's gone through the process, I take. Okay.
Extremely.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Department head reports?
One more quick thing.
Yep.
Have we figured out where the $250,000 in the Peter Welch grant went to yet, or no?
Yes, it went to the,
Because that was supposed to be, from the grant application, there's specific language within that that says it's supposed to be used for community spaces and not administrative spaces.
it's used, this is all community space. It's all considered that.
There's specific language within the grant application.
You can argue that, but
Well,
you'll make that, get it on the agenda, get it on the agenda, okay?
well, we will.
All right, thanks.
One more quick thing. Can we use the community upstairs center for the Halloween party this year, or is that still off the table?
Not yet, no.
Because there's over $900-something thousand tied up in this building, and Mr. Gunter has been saying for the last year and a half now that we can use the upstairs. And so far, we still have an $88,000 elevator to nowhere.
Yep. Okay, it's not to nowhere, but
Well, no one can use it, so it's to nowhere.
go ahead and use it if you want.
Where's it go? To nothing.
To offices.
There's
In
nothing
storage,
upstairs.
in storage at this point. All right. Anything else?
I'm good.
Good. Department head reports, you are it, I think.
We'll start with a little bit of communications from Orwell. The board, if you remember, I think maybe 2 meetings ago, the board decided to donate a little bit of slate tile to the Orwell Free Library. the board approved a 10 by 10 section, but they took like a 4 by 16, which is a little bit less than what was approved. And they sent a thank you card. So I appreciate
Picture of Orwell?
the picture of the library.
Is that inches or feet?
Feet. 10 by 10 inches wouldn't be bad.
I could have probably donated to that.
Moving on, we'll talk about the police. We had 5 arrests. I'm just gonna do the overview on this. 5 arrests, 73 traffic and municipal violations, 21 written warnings, 4 car crashes, and 9 sets of civilian fingerprints over the last couple of weeks. We want to, and she's on vacation today, but we need to recognize Carrie LaFawn. She was awarded the Operator of the Year Award for Vermont for the wastewater plant.
Cool.
So yeah, it's really great, and well deserved. Carrie,
She runs a type ship down there, and it really shows. I've been down there, as you know, multiple times, and very knowledgeable. And yeah,
Does a good
an
job.
example. She's definitely set a standard.
she is.
Yeah, she took care of that welcome center problem very well.
Yeah.
So I think she's gonna go, I think it's in Boston, I'll have to ask again, but I think she's going to Boston to accept that award. So it's a big deal for us.
Cool.
Is it Vermont or New England?
Vermont,
Vermont.
yep. But, I think I said it before, it might have been last year. Little Fairhaven, with the services we provide, we really do punch above our weight with what we do. We're always right there with Montpelier, Burlington, the big cities, we're right there competing with them.
So,
for-
question: because she's going down to Boston, is that something that she's got to cover herself, or are we gonna
I have
give
to,
some kind of reimbursement or?
I talked to her in passing about it, but I mean, we wouldn't expect her to pay for that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just making sure.
Yep. Moving on to my office, basketball is starting up next week, I think. Reese, the recreation director. He's in meetings about that now. He's working close with Luke Vadness. Luke he's the go-to guy for basketball, so he's working together with him. We renewed our insurance with VLCT Passive, so we'll be getting those final numbers hopefully before the end of the year. Wasn't sure if I let the town know and let the board know, but the first week of November, you'll see the guys out doing hydrant flushing. So we're not gonna flood out any driveways this year.
Yeah.
Good. My neighbor will be happy.
Yeah, we avoid that space.
Thank you. I truly.
Yeah, I know.
If not, you know where I'll be.
Yeah. Let's see, water department, they replaced that the big valve on Airport Road, the one that shuts down the plant from the rest of the town. When we had that water main break, they noticed that thing wasn't closing entirely, so we lost a lot of water coming out. They finally got around to replacing that. They did a good job. We appreciate that. It's good, just preventative maintenance. Back to recreation, Reese sent out a survey to our soccer participants, and the feedback came back. Yeah, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. We're always trying to improve, and having somebody in position to just manage those programs, that's all they focus on. It's really proven to be a boon for for our sports. Scotch Hill, if you've been out to Scotch Hill, you see they put the culverts in and the paving is done. The guys still have to do the shoulders, but that is on their agenda and they will take care of that. Same with Big Low Hill and that little patch right there at Inman Pond Road. They're gonna put the shoulders up on Big Low Hill, and I don't think there's anything on Inman Pond, not that I saw.
Cemetery Street.
And they haven't got there yet.
I know.
Where am I at? Oh, and trunk or treat. So we had our second, in fact, trunk or treat last Friday. Had about 120 kids and 30 cars came through. So it was kind of an impromptu thing, but it really turned out. So we're happy to see our families coming together and spending time in the community. And that's what I got for you.
One question about the basketball program. I hate to even ask this, but are we gonna have to pay rent for our own school?
I don't think so, no.
Good. Good, I mean,
No, we're okay.
but it's not our school anymore, that's what I mean.
It's definitely hard to get gym space right now, but yeah, we're not. we work close with the schools.
Have we talked to the chief with Halloween being Thursday and we get a huge crowd, Carnarvon, 4th, 2nd Street here. Chief's all set with a good presence, so.
Yes, Chief's all set for Halloween. Yeah, he's great.
Good.
We got extra guys coming. There was another ask to shut down Carnarvon, just like every year folks ask to shut down Carnarvon. We're not gonna shut down Carnarvon. Yeah, we're ready. And if you're interested, stop by. My wife and I are passing out candy in front of Town Hall.
In front of Town Hall, here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how the kids do. I'm walking down here.
Yeah, bring.
Thank you.
Anything else for the town manager? Getting away easy tonight.
You got,
Yes,
I apologize, I should have said this during public comment.
yes, you're out of order.
Talking about Halloween, it reminded me, I wanted to mention this. So at Christmas time, I really enjoy going around looking at all the Christmas lights. And I have to say, I'm really, really excited with the Halloween. It's getting
So-
almost like,
Can I cut you off? So my wife and I are the ones that started the Fairhaven Holiday Light Tour. This will be our 3rd year. So if you're not on our Facebook group, look for it because we'll be activating that and starting to ask people to sign up with no cost. And last year I did a raffle of some stuff. So
send it to me.
yeah, I'll send it to you. Yep.
But it's getting almost, I mean, yeah, there's still few and far between, but it's getting much more exciting, and I mean, there's some really awesome ones out there.
I think this is his biggest year from what I've
Yes,
seen.
absolutely.
So
And
I'm hoping for us it's the same thing because we've been about 20 houses the last 2 years. I'm hoping this year we can get some more.
well, I just wanted to point out that it's awesome, and I really support it.
yeah, good job done by all in that right there. The little contests, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Scott does a good job with the Halloween one.
Any other question? No new, old business, new business at town hall painting contract.
So we've been trying to get somebody to paint the soffits at Town Hall for about 18 months now. We reached out to Flying Colors, which is Vito's, and I hope I said it right, Spalieri?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and he's the only one that came back with a bid. His bid is $38,950. The board authorized $50,000 to do the exterior painting, so we have enough in the budget to do that. This was a couple years ago, 50 was deposited into the municipal building reserve account.
Right, we voted in.
Yeah, it was voted in. So,
Looking for a
Does that
motion?
include the fascia, fixing the fascia and stuff too as well?
this is only for painting. If he has to put any woodwork in, it'll be extra. So I'm gonna ask him to do everything he can with the money that we have. But yeah, I need board authority to be able to spend out of that account.
Are you looking for a motion for the 38.9 or the up to 50 so you don't have to come back if we have to repair fascia? Just
Up to 50 would be nice. I mean, I won't spend it if I don't have to.
not to exceed? I'll make a motion to accept the bid from
Flying colors.
Flying Colors. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce Spalieri's,
That's Lucy's son.
Yeah. it's
oh, is it Lucy? Oh, Vito, good. So, not to exceed $50,000.
Second,
I'll second that.
thank you. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor?
Is that gonna be done this fall, or we're gonna wait till spring?
Spring. It's way too late now. I was trying to get on somebody's schedule.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
All right?
All those opposed? Thank you. Now we're into budget, and because Cedar is here in force, we will bow to their, do them first, so you guys can go home. If you, or you can stay, you're more than welcome to stay, but
Page 11.
Enjoy the heat of budget season, but maybe not that much. Thank you for having us. Lyle Justin with Chamber of Economic Development. I'm here with Cooper Babbitt, who is our Operations Director, and Olivia Bucksbaum, who is our Communications and Marketing Manager. We want to start by thanking you for your support as members of our organization. It allows us to do the work that we do, and I think that you probably have in your budget, we hope or would request, I think it's $500 that Joe has put in as membership. And this past year, you also supported us with the Regional Marketing Initiative at $500, and Mr. Travers has joined our committee, and we appreciate that very much. You have a very strong advocate for Fairhaven when Glenn is at the table at the Marketing Committee. Olivia can talk to you a little bit about the marketing campaign. We have some data to show you that we think is showing that things are moving in the right direction. Also want to briefly have Cooper talk to you about priority project lists and what that means for particularly Fairhaven. You've got a great project out there right now on Skyline that's moving along. I know Joe's working to get a contract signed and kind of move that along so some work can be done reviewing the site and seeing if it's what needs to happen so you can get that open again, which would be very exciting. I don't know if you'd like to hear about regional marketing first, or if you'd like to hear about priority project lists and how that can support you with project like Skyline, whatever you like.
Start with priority project, just for.
Great. As Lyle mentioned, my name is Cooper Babbitt. I'm the Operations Director at Cedar. What I do in large part is help businesses and municipalities with grant programs and kind of identifying state and federal funds that can assist in those types of projects. We have an annual contract with the State Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and as part of that, one of the things we're tasked with doing is creating a regional priority projects list, which is essentially the top 10 priority projects in our county. This isn't a particular grant opportunity, so there's no immediate financial benefit to it if you are selected. However, it does come with scoring improvements, particularly for the Northern Borders Regional Commission funding source, which focuses primarily on infrastructure, housing, manufacturing type projects. This list, the applications for it are due in November. I sent the application to Joe, and at any point I'm happy to discuss that with him. From our perspective, certainly the Skyline project is something super exciting happening here, and getting that project back online, that property back online in Fairhaven would be awesome, especially if it's working to help with the housing crisis. With that said, if there's other projects in town that you think should have a look on that list, I'd encourage Joe or any of you or anyone in the community who may be interested to submit an application. I'd be happy to circulate that with this group as well if Joe hasn't. But there's no limit to projects that we'll consider from any town. So if Fairhaven has 2 projects that are awesome, we can certainly include 2 projects on that list. So just wanted to make you aware of that. As I mentioned, it does help with scoring for the NBRC grants, but really a number of state agencies look at that as a gauge of kind of where projects fit in the whole regional strategy for development. So I'd encourage you to reach out to anyone you may know in Fairhaven that may be interested in submitting a project, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions, concerns, or if you're planning to submit an application. And those are due on November 15th.
Can you list a couple of the projects that were on just last year's list?
Yes, so it ranged everything from the Vermont Farmers Food Center in the city, the Pittsburgh Village Farm, the East Creek Commons housing project that was the Housing Trust of Rutland County, New Horizons Early Learning Center was one of the projects included. The downtown hotel project in the city was included. So it really runs the gamut of everything from kind of larger, our industrial park work in Clarendon was included. So it's everything that runs the gamut from, smaller projects like the Pittsburgh Village Farm to, large, multi-million dollar projects like what's going on in Killington. So anything that's really driving development is a great fit for it, especially when municipalities or nonprofits are involved. because for many funding sources, as you know, it's easiest for a municipality to do those types of, that type of work. So it could be, for example, if there's a project happening in your downtown, and there needs to be some sort of municipal project to make that move along, that would be a great opportunity for the town to apply for funding sources and apply to this list to kind of get an edge over other applicants. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Joe has my contact information, and happy to discuss that with any of you at any time.
We work very closely with the Rutland Regional Planning Commission, and so if they have projects they're working with you on, we'd love to get those projects on this list. So. And again, the scoring is the important part, and the fact that increasingly so, as Cooper says, state agencies are asking, are you on the priority project list? And that gets a benefit. Even if it doesn't get scored because there isn't a scoring rubric for that, they are asking the question. And there's been funding out there.
Just one quick question. You said that November 15th is the deadline for applying for this round. When is there another round? Because we have an economic development committee that's pretty active that would love to share some of that information with and let them know what's the next. Is it every year from a certain date to a certain date? It's open?
Every 6 months. So that's a new feature as of this past year. The kind of annual list happens in November, and let me just be clear, if there's something and it's going to take a day or two after the 15th to get it to me, just let me know and it won't be a problem. But shoot for the 15th because we have to kind of process them and review them before we send them to the state. But there will be another round in May as well.
Okay. Good, thank you.
And I would say, just to, not to belabor this part of the conversation, the projects that are on the list currently are getting funded. And so it is the Paramount Theater and some of those others that you're hearing Cooper talk about.
But the city has gotten money recently, and we want to get it out to the smaller towns. And the state has said as much to us, you know, let's make sure we're doing our diligence.
And they want to get it to Rutland County.
Yeah.
The governor made it very clear he wanted money to come to Rutland County.
Good.
That's priority projects. This is regional marketing.
So Lyle is going to pass around a folder with some stats and information. I can kind of walk you through it a little bit. On the left-hand side, there is a pamphlet for the hub. This is our co-working space. Also, we shouldn't call it an event space, but large meeting space. So if you ever wanted to have meetings with other municipalities or anything, this is a nice spot to do it. We have our annual report, and then a little bit about the fall 2024 cohort, which was part of Startup Rutland. And I don't know if Lyle wants to touch on that at all.
Well, I think Bob was there and saw the event.
Glenn was there too.
I loved your Shark Tank little presentation. A lot of energy. It was very good.
They were, the teams were impressive, and they are getting traction. And these teams are looking for venture capital, and they're getting venture capital because they've gone through the program in the Startup Rutland process in our facility. And our goal is to have tech-enabled companies who are coming to the Rutland County area and bringing their business and their jobs, because they're high-skill, high-demand, high-paying jobs that will help the restaurants and everybody else because they have expendable income and they have time. And so we're hoping to have those businesses working right out of Rutland County and springing from Startup Rutland and the Hub Cohort.
And on the right side of the folder is some information about Real Rutland. So Lyle had already mentioned that we ask $500 from Fairhaven, who I believe represents $1 for every person who lives here. Am I correct? No,
but we'd
I'm
love
so
that.
wrong. Okay.
We'll take 500. Yeah.
And we use this money for marketing our region. So we market all of Rutland County where people live, work, and play. And the goal is to attract skilled workers to come and fill those jobs that we need filled, and hope that they'll stay here, help boost our economy, put roots down, have families, and keep our county successful. One of the things that we are doing is the weekend getaway. So this is a campaign that's nationwide. This most recent one, we reached just over 800,000 people across the country. And we have people sign up if they're interested in relocating here for basically an all-inclusive weekend. We set them up with realtors, with school visits. We send them on a scavenger hunt, which is this one right here, pictures from all around the county, where they're asked to go to every single town and really get a feel for, do I want to live in Fairhaven? Do I want to live in the downtown of Rutland? What fits our personality and our family's needs? And then we survey them afterwards, see how likely they are to come back. So far, I've heard from 4 of the 5 families. 3 of them say that they are very likely to move to Rutland County. One of them said neither likely nor unlikely, so we could potentially still get them. And underneath that paper is kind of our fact sheet on the concierge program. So just so you know, a lead to the concierge program is anyone who clicks on our website and says, please tell me more, I'm interested. So 21 to 23, we had just over 2,700 leads. As of October 18th of this year, we have had that number is 24 plus 5, almost 600. Leads, which is really great. And so far this year, we have had 39 people move to Rutland County and more are set to move before the end of the year. The next page is a chart just to give you an idea of how important it is for us to put money behind the campaigns. The blue represents June when we were not running any campaigns, and the green is July when we were running the weekend getaway campaign, and you can see the drastic increase in our page views. We increased over 400%. Users go up to our website. On our website, it has links to the towns like Fairhaven and different jobs that are open, so people can actually see where they can fill in those spots here in our county. So.
And on the back of that second page, I want to talk about the jobs that people are taking, different towns they're moving to, and so forth, if they were aware of it.
And we are planning on doing a winter weekend getaway. We still need to nail down the details. We're hoping it's when Fairhaven has their winter festival. Glenn is helping out with that.
We're having a winter festival.
Well, we're gonna have a winter
Okay.
festival.
Surprise.
Yeah, that was new information. I'm excited for it though.
Wait
nod and
till
smile.
Reese finds out about it.
Yeah, right.
Good.
So the total budget, depending on the year, is about $120,000 to $150,000. A lot of it's social media marketing and also staffing. The concierge coordinator works half-time and she is the one that's answering the phone and doing Zoom calls, answering questions like, what are snow tires? What is fuel oil? People in Texas have different questions than we might have about our region. And it's exciting to be able to talk to them. And what she does is she has a list of about 30 different volunteers who are our concierge volunteers. And she will be interviewing Joe when he calls up and find out that Joe is married, he has a horse, and he likes to ski. She looks at that spreadsheet she's got, and she's looking for somebody who's married, has horses, and likes to ski, and then she'll connect them and hopefully create relationships so that they'll want to be here. And again, it's really to help our businesses find the employees that they're after. Your support has been great, and we appreciate it. Other towns are contributing as well, including Killington and Rutland and Danby and Brandon and West Rutland, and the list goes on. Knowing that in a year, you didn't see Fairhaven on the back there that says somebody moved to your town this year.
Yeah,
They might move next year, and so it just depends on the year.
Are you asking for feedback when these people come, like when they look at different towns, like why they might not choose like Fairhaven, or?
We haven't asked that specifically. We should.
Right, because if there's things like the town we can try to work towards to attract new people, it'd be nice to know.
Are any of our real estate people, go-to people for you guys?
We used anybody from out here, I'm thinking, is it Bird Realty, is that, who's out
Yeah.
there?
Well, you,
One bird, yeah.
don't you have Warren Hughes and?
Lauren's retired. They
She's
retired.
retired.
But you have, what's the one in Hydeville?
Bert,
No, in the
No,
plaza.
Gilbert.
No, Gilbert's,
He's done?
well, he's out of his house, but he
Yeah.
bought,
We have New York, Vermont right here on the main street.
yeah. Yeah, and then whoever bought Gilbert's whole plaza there, I can't remember what group that was.
Realty one.
Thank you.
Any of the realtors we're using are right on MLS, they've got every listing and they will take anybody anywhere. And people don't necessarily want to live in the city of Rutland. It's funny, people will call up and they all want to be gentlemen farmers and they think they're gonna have a barn and they're gonna have chickens and everything. They get here and then they see different things and they may not want to now be that gentleman farmer or gentlewoman farmer. So just getting here and getting them on the tour that Olivia puts together, which is amazing. You know, you'll see the gazebo here from Fairhaven where people come and they have to take their picture at a certain point within your town or all towns, and if they go to enough towns, then they get a prize for having done that. So we want to get people out of Rutland City, get them out to different places.
And we also know that people use the resources on our website, but they don't come through the program. So there might be some people using our resources and moving here, but we don't know it because they haven't come through the program.
You can go to realrutland.com and you can see some of the things that are on there. That changes frequently with different pictures and things. We leave some things on there because, say, well, that's a really old picture or an old video, but they don't know that. And it's a really cool old picture and old video, and we want them to see that stuff.
other questions?
So our request would be that you consider, as you go through your budget process, both our memberships, which we appreciate, and your continued support of regional marketing. We also know that there are lots of stresses that are on your budget, like everywhere, and every dollar counts. And we will make sure every dollar counts if you provide that to us.
At this point, it's level from last year. So,
Yes.
500 and 500. We will probably discuss that several times before the final budget, but I don't think it'll go lower than that. You guys, it is an impressive operation, I must admit. Much
Thank
as,
you, and it's a lot of effort on Olivia's part, concierge coordinator Carly Haven, and the work that Cooper is doing now is really good stuff.
thank you.
Thank you.
And if we aren't insulting, we may leave.
It's not exactly the most exciting part of our job, the budget, although it's excitable.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for
Have a
having
great
us.
night.
So, I see we had the town clerk and, are they here? I assume they're here for input. Yeah, might as well, we're ready to start.
Because we're gonna do elections and everything else.
Treasurer, town clerk, listers, planning commission. I'm gonna give you some money from the planning commission.
You're gonna give us money?
Yeah,
We'll take it.
I knew you will. I knew you'd be happy to.
I don't think there's really much on the market in Fairhaven right now, is there?
We'd had a few people buy houses and move in, so I don't know how, we haven't talked to them about, they checked our website and they did their own research.
One of the things I'd like them to do is if they know somebody's coming this way, maybe we could get them a welcoming committee.
Then there's a group that's put together a welcome,
I mean, it seems like it's in your bailiwick in the PC,
yeah.
but it would be nice to be able to say, here's some of the things you might not see right off, or some of the recreation.
Maybe it'd be a good thing to work with the source together. Here's a book of Fairhaven's history or
Yeah,
something like,
Think we were doing that last year, didn't
They put something
We still
together.
do. We have welcome packets that we hand out to new,
Right.
you have to move into town though to get it, right?
To get the
You can't- Not just pass it through.
My apologies, I was trying to get a lot of work done, so.
We're trying to,
We're running ahead of schedule.
That's great.
nothing is forever, but. Okay, so the process we go through is we have the ones that we're doing tonight, and we just start in line by line, and if there's questions or comments, please feel free. So elections units is first, and, election workers is down, and that's, to me, seems odd, but,
Well, because this is a busy election year. We had
well, yeah,
24, we had the presidential primary along with town meeting, and then we had.
oh, so this is next year,
Yeah, so this is next year.
This is
Never mind.
So, and next year, there'll only be the,
town meeting,
oh my God, town meeting in 26.
yeah,
I always add another one.
yeah.
So
Well-
yes, we are down.
Well, the conversation earlier probably might be a good idea to have another one, but, yeah, okay, so I'm losing my mind, that was, I get that
And if the
now.
school has votes, then I build a school.
You build them, you don't have to build it.
Okay,
Nothing comes to us.
good.
Well, not much.
Any comments?
I'm good on elections unit.
Okay. Let's do town treasurer then, is,
No, Karen's not here.
She's in there.
I'm sorry.
It looks like, 2.99, it's a 3% increase.
Yep.
Which looks right with what we're
Yep.
doing.
Okay. The next one is listers. But if you want, Danny, we can skip over to town clerk and, are any of the listers here? No, okay. What's your pleasure, folks? You wanna just go through the listers real quick?
Take them in the order that we
Okay.
have. We'll
All right.
go quick, really quick.
All right, so let's do the listers as we're talking here. It's up by $700.
It looked like 3.1% increase, which
Yeah.
looked right.
The question I would have was, reappraisal, would that kick in by next year, or are we?
From what I'm understanding, it doesn't look like we could even get somebody here until 27, 28.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Well,
keep kicking.
It's a double-edged sword.
yeah.
Give me some time to close the
Okay,
job.
so,
This one looks good.
so that's, there's nothing that jumps out at me there, anybody? Holler if you got something. All right, so that was quick. We're to you, town clerk. Okay. All right,
I will say, let's just take the good news off the top. The dues and meetings, you can take out $840 because we're switching to COTS. We would have been over that because we've been over that budget because co-file went up quite a bit. So instead of going up more than that, we can take out $840. And that drops it to $4,495.
thank you for the math.
Take out what?
$840 from the dues and meetings.
3,540.
And I will be petitioning for an assistant town clerk for 8 hours a week. The vast majority of the towns have somebody in there many more hours than 1 day a week. This is not the town clerk's office of the 1940s or the 1960s or the 1980s or even the early 2000s. The amount of work that I have staring me in the face that I have not gotten to this year especially with 9 elections, is out of this world. I've talked to town clerks who have, at meetings, who say, you know, you've got to convince your board that they've got to come up to the 21st century. This is an amazing amount of work that's in this office.
So you have an assistant salary in here.
I will be petitioning for a little over $11,000, $11,256
So
is what I'm
When-
petitioning.
so if it's in the budget, why would you petition for it? I'm just,
Because the petition, the budget isn't enough.
okay, I'm just,
So you're saying 22,000 is what you need?
I'm saying 11,256 for 1 day a week. I talked to the town clerk in Fairleigh. You know, Fairleigh has 1,000 people. She has 18 hours. Her assistant is in every week.
right, no, I'm just asking because it's already on here as 11,300, so I'm just asking why you would petition if it's in it. 11,300
What am I
for
looking at that's wrong?
assistant salary. That's why I'm asking, why are you petitioning if it's
Am I looking at something different? Maybe I.
Page 3?
Page 3?
Page 3 under.
Look at, I can read that. No, I'm looking at something old.
No,
What is
that's-
it in there?
That's why I asked.
Yep, that's perfect.
That's
I'm
why
sorry.
I asked why you would petition if it's already in the budget.
I wanted to hold. Last year, it held until the very last meeting, and then it went away. And I don't want it to go away. Yeah.
I have some input on that.
Yeah.
I just or a question, because I'm looking at the assistant salary. And that increase, we're trying to keep everything, I don't doubt anything you're saying, but we're trying to keep everything at 3% increase.
Yeah. Yeah, but-
Huge amount of money, but then I'm looking back, I look at what we actually spend. I look at fiscal year for '23, it was 1,500 for the assistant. Fiscal year '24 was 5,600. I'm just looking at the data, looking for clear. So when I looked at that and I saw the 11,300, my first initial action was saying, well, I'll round that up because it's needed up. But I says it looks like instead of 11,300, $6,000 would be what, and that 6,000, I don't know how close that comes to. I didn't do the percentage on that, but it feels closer. It doesn't mean that you can't, I'm just saying that going from here and jumping way up there, you may want to, I am trying to understand with the 2,000, what do we have, 2,600 people? How, if we have 40 hours a week of town clerk, you want additional 8 hours a week of assistant clerk, I'm saying maybe, I don't know the full workload, but I'm saying I'd feel more comfortable that would be 6,000 and we're able to put another 5,300 somewhere else in the budget.
What I am saying is you can't, okay, I'm looking at it like this. Last year, we didn't have a rec director. This year, we did. That was a huge increase.
Yeah.
The first year I was here as a town clerk, and let's just put it on the table, it was hell on earth. I didn't even have my assistant in there hardly at all because I was just trying to get through every day. And I didn't have time to teach anybody anything. I had a whole bunch of town clerks screaming at me, you can't do this alone. I would come in here, and I do, I have, you know, what the behind the scenes of this job is, I say I'm here from 8 to 4. Most of the time I'm here shortly after Eileen gets here. The last 2 days, I have walked in with Eileen. Sometimes I go home and I come back in the evening. I am here almost every Sunday. So it's not that I am not working. I am working my full week, and then I'm coming in. And I've got other town clerks saying, you gotta stop, Danny. You've gotta draw the line somewhere. We all have assistants. We all have assistants for 2 reasons. To catch up, and that if something happens, somebody's here. Now, I was out for 1 day last week. Everything piled up because God loves Sharon. She was in here for the afternoon. She's not in here enough. No one is in here enough to know anything but the bare minimum. And elections this year, and God love me, I don't want to go through another 9 elections in a year. It's aged me horribly. All of that work is now backing up. And if there's somebody in here who once a week is in here for a day, not only are they an asset to this town, because if I'm killed in a plane crash, someone can come in and know exactly what's going on.
So, question for you, because your current, besides coming in like on weekends or nights, you currently work Monday through Thursday, correct?
Monday through Thursday.
So would your assistant cover Fridays, or would you want them here?
They need to be when I'm here.
Okay.
They need to be
So
here
it
when
wouldn't
I'm
give,
here.
this additional 11, this additional money doesn't give us 5-day-a-week coverage.
No, but there hasn't been 5-day-a-week coverage in this office
But-
since
but would-
20, and
but
before
wouldn't-
that, half a day.
But wouldn't the taxpayer want something, when I say 5-day-a-week, at least have the ability in the afternoon for people who work during the week to come in here on a Friday afternoon for 2 or 3 hours or a couple hours, when you're having absolutely nothing.
Most town clerks are not open Friday afternoons. Most town clerks are not open Fridays.
I've heard a lot of people ask
I don't
where
even-
you are.
Yeah, and for probably 6 years, there hasn't been a town clerk in here on Friday afternoons.
I haven't
At
heard.
least.
I haven't heard that before. I
Suzanne
have.
didn't work here in the afternoons for at least 2, if not more than that, before she retired.
Well, then they
4
were in the
years
morning.
they have.
They were here in the morning. She was here in
She
the
was in
morning.
but she hasn't been here in the morning in 6 years.
Well,
In 4
So-
years, no one's been here.
So for me,
And most towns are not, most towns are don't, clerks don't.
Right.
In fact, I get updates from elections, especially now, saying Fridays, and then I get a thing saying, I know a lot of you aren't there on Fridays.
So for
It's just-
me, and I understand we're trying to stay within the 3%, and I understand you've got a big workload and stuff like that. I would be okay with that increase that you're asking for, but I would like to see some kind of coverage on Friday, even just for even a couple hours in the afternoon.
You don't have that, you don't have
Because
that
for
authority.
me, I don't have. I work the same schedule you do, so Fridays is my day to come in and do stuff, and I essentially.
Okay, what do you need to do on Friday?
I never know. It
Yeah.
changes. It changes periodically. I mean, I could, but
Yeah,
that's my.
And I find that there's, according to Eileen, occasionally someone comes in for a DMV on
Right.
a Friday.
But I'm willing to compromise with you but I can't speak for the rest of the board. But for me, I'd be okay with your increase if you would be willing to give us at least 2 hours in the afternoon on Friday with your assistant to have this office open.
But that's the authority you don't have. You don't have the authority to.
Listen to what he's saying.
I know.
God damn
I'm trying to be reasonable with
He's,
you.
he's trying to,
And
he's
I'm trying to
asking,
understand this.
he's not
but
demanding
There's a lot of
anything.
people that work the same schedule, and Fridays is their only day to come in to do stuff. And if nobody's in here, I'm okay with that increase, but I would like, and I know I don't have the authority, but you do. Could you get your assistant to come in for 2 hours on a Friday and open up?
My issue with my assistant is she works 5 jobs.
Get a different assistant.
It's very hard to find an assistant can come in, who wants to work that few hours. The one thing about me being the assistant was that I was a lister. And the good thing about Sharon being the assistant is she's a lister. So she's in here. And those 2 offices, as I said 1,000 times, mesh very well back and forth. But if you're trying to find someone who wants to work 8 hours in a week, and including, say, okay, I work 6 hours one day and 2 hours another, most people don't want to do that.
Or get them trained and then have them work 8 hours Friday.
But that doesn't really help me, because you need somebody so that you've got 2 of us working together. One works at customers, one gets recordings done, one gets the recordings copied into books. It's not that cut and dry that it's a one person, and it's been that way for years. It should not have been. Suzanne has used to say to me 3 things. Sucks to be you, don't do what I did, and I never fought hard enough for what I should have in this office, and this is one of the things that she never fought hard enough for.
And don't take this personally. I've had a pretty good relationship since I've come in. I'm trying to understand this too, because this is my first budget season. So I'm asking for a little bit of compromise, because I understand your workload. I'm just asking, I'm okay with that number, but could you give us like the two?
That would be something I'd have to talk to Sharon
So
about.
it doesn't matter really, does it? What we do? 'Cause you're
I
gonna-
will petition for it, yes.
That's what I
Well,
mean,
right.
that's what I mean,
I
so,
will.
which is not a cooperative way to go, but.
Well, it is, you know, it kind of is the, is-
And that's, that, I guess
No, I'm
that's
trying
what
to
I'm-
compromise.
But what
Trying to
I'm saying
avoid
is,
that.
Let's, one at a time, please.
what I'm saying is, when I look, I try to treat this no different than any other line item like we did when we went through DPW.
Right.
When I'm looking at what we're spending and what we're getting, and quite frankly, I don't mind spending more money, tell me what I'm getting for more money. If I'm getting, to your point, I'm getting 40-hour-a-week coverage, and that includes some Friday coverage, and hopefully it's not just at our convenience, it's Friday when the actual taxpayer is probably going to take the long weekend, so I'd want it in the second half, but I believe that I still come back to what I propose is then not 11,300, but 6,000 there. And I hear what Danny, what you're saying, that you're gonna put it in appropriation and ask the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Taxpayers wanna keep paying an outrageous amount of money for town clerk, that's up to them, in my opinion. We're already, with where it is, at 66,245 for a little town of Fairhaven for a town clerk. I think we should be able to get 40 hours a week of coverage, and I think that should include Friday, personally. So I hear what you're saying, but I'm proposing we change that 11,300 to 6K. Based on when I looked at our highest amount we spent, actual year, fiscal year 24 was 5,661. I'll round it up, let's do 6,000. We may be back next year, sitting here saying, you know something, what it really, to do what we wanted, what it really cost us was this number. I'm willing to listen and have that discussion. I just think we're paying more than we need to if we pay that.
Mike?
I mean, right, if you're, like I said, I'm willing to compromise, but if you're just gonna petition to have it on the ballot, there's no reason for me to compromise, and I'm gonna go with Glenn's number.
That's fine, and that's what I expect. You know,
I mean,
I
no.
will say that.
But I don't want you going and
I do
trashing our
want
name,
40
I don't want you going trashing our name on social media saying we're not willing to work with you. I'm willing to work with you, but you're not willing to compromise, is what I'm getting, and it's frustrating.
I'm willing to say that I work 40 hours a week. I do, because I'm here Sundays. I am here at 7:30 most mornings. It's just that there's so much to do.
So I'm fine with your proposal, the 3% and this saying at 6,500 or whatever, was it 6,000?
Yeah.
Glenn?
Yep.
And then she can petition the
I-
board or the town people.
Rich, you got anything?
I'm just trying to figure, you basically want a town clerk, an assistant town clerk for 52 days a year at whatever salary. I was just trying to figure.
Well, I'll tell you the salary is the same as what she makes in the Lister's office, for several reasons. Number one, I was the assistant town clerk in the Lister. I made over $4 less every time I walked into the door to work in the town clerk's office. I didn't complain, but the jobs are so compatible and they work so well together.
It's kind of tough to do things that way nowadays. You're here, you're at this desk. You're
Yep,
gonna walk
and
over.
walking over there. Yep.
You're gonna spend more time changing numbers than you are.
Exactly,
anything.
yeah. And so that's why I kept it that amount. The day a week is, as I say, it's hard to find someone who wants to come in, who wants to sit home until a certain time when you're not gonna call and say, I'm sick. Or who wants to come in to a job that they know nothing about and on an on-call basis. Because if you can't do anything in that office, if somebody comes in on a Friday and somebody's in there, and I have an assistant who says, gee, I'm sorry, I only come in here for, half a day on Friday, that's all I'm allowed, I can't really do anything for you besides DMV. That's not helpful. So you need somebody who is able to instantly know how to post land, how to do a marriage license, how to do a fishing license, how to accept a recording in. There's a,
You
how
have
to,
people come in and actually buy hunting and fishing licenses still here?
all the time,
Seriously?
all the
I
time.
used to do it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
And elections, I mean, I need to transfer my voter registration here. I want to drop off a ballot, I want to get a ballot. All of that stuff, especially this year, is you need to be precise. You need to, everyone needs to know that there's nothing wrong in that. And when someone comes in and they want to register to vote, then they start asking you all kinds of questions about how do you know that I'm an American citizen? How do you, you've got to be ready for those answers. And that takes skill and that takes training, which I cannot do because I don't have the hours to do it. That's what I'm saying.
So help me understand, 1 day a week for an assistant is, say, 8 hours a week at, what's their salary amount? What's the week?
It would be $168 a week
$168
for that 1 day.
for 1 day.
And then you have to figure in a few well, I had it here somewhere. 8 hours a week, $168, 52 weeks a year, 8,736, 5 sick days. I'm just giving, just throwing them in. With any luck, I'll be sick on the days that they're supposed to work anyway. And then I gave my $10 vacation days. So that's how I came up with it. But it's just, there's a lot of nuances to that office.
So that 1 day a week's it's ballpark about $8,500 a year.
87.
I'm ballparking, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 87.
Yeah, and and this is just something that most town clerks, almost every town clerk has, regardless if they're, well, Fairleigh works 26 hours a week. I just looked it up. She has an assistant in there for 18 of those hours.
I just did those numbers twice, it's $27 an hour.
What's $27 now?
If you're doing $11,000, divided by 52.
I'm also saying in that is vacation days and.
How many part-time people in this town get benefits?
I'm talking me.
Oh, okay.
Me having 10 vacation days and 5 sick days.
So basically with this, we're talking about the assistant salary line right now. So we could basically cut that down to, say, 9,000. We could save a little bit there for the first year and talk about it again next year. It sounds like that would get the job done and give you
That would do it.
It seems like that would give you one person, 1 day a week, the whole year.
That would do it.
If we went to 9,000, would you still petition for the 11,300?
If I have your word that you will not bump this down at the last hour, I will absolutely leave it alone.
So we can see the difference when I put 6,000, I have no idea what, I only base it on what I saw in the actual. If what you were talking about, and I have no reason to believe that that isn't the way the calculation would be done.
If I had a calculator, I could be quicker, but I'm just trying to do it in my head.
Yeah.
But, it's a start.
It's a start.
It's a start. It kind of washes both hands a little bit here and.
See, what I'm trying to do is get it out of the hands of you feeling you have to go put it on appropriations each year, which I think is an embarrassment to us and you both. And I'm trying to get away from that embarrassment to say, okay, let's talk about, we're talking the salary, it looks like of the 47,610 that you had down there. That's a 3.5%. That's still about 0.5% more increase than what we're trying to stay up. And I'm not willing to die on that hill right now. So if you're saying that the assistant, what was the number you threw out?
9,000.
9,000
Instead of 11,300.
instead of 11,300? I can support that.
Yep, I'm fine
And
with that.
you don't need to go get an appropriation. We don't
As
need
long
to.
as I'm not gonna get hit in the back the last hour. That's kind of my fear.
I'm right here on PEG
Got my
TV,
word.
telling you that that's what
Same here.
we're looking at.
Yeah.
So again, and
And I'm happy
it's
for
all
that.
in this back and forth. This is what we do at budget time. It's nothing personal
But,
or
you know,
anything.
and I just want you to realize that it's not just because I'm saying I'm overwhelmed, it's that if something happened to me, that, you know, I was brought up that you do your job, you do it well, and every day I come in here doing, you know, the best job I know how, but it's always over my head if something happened, and I'm not saying, you know, the town would fold without me, but without the stuff that starts in my office, the listers can't do their job. Part of Eileen's job, she can't do. Everything starts in one spot. And I just want there to be a clear backup, and if something happened, I want my assistant to be able to say, I'm comfortable.
Yep.
I can do it.
So we're happy with 9,000.
And I think
Everybody
that's,
okay with that?
I'm good with it, and I think I think the townspeople need that also.
I think so. And I will say that I've had a lot of people with all the election stuff coming on, I've had a lot of people just calling me only to say, thank you. I'm watching the news, I know how stressful this is, I can't imagine sitting in your job and doing what you're doing. I've had at least 10 people call me just for that reason, or stop in. This is a very, very stressful election.
On that same line, it's a little off, but for the elections, the security of having the constable there, did that?
Yep, I let the chief know and he was reaching out. I hadn't heard from them. Have you heard from them?
I texted Bill today, they are working it out between them, the two constables, what hours they will be.
Okay.
And again, slightly off topic, I have given, the state wanted the chair of the BCA's phone number, just in case.
Feel free to hand it out.
So I gave it to them, so it's going to be a very stressful week and a half going into next week. It's crazy.
Even after that, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty intense after that.
It's not the day of voting, it's after everything starts getting counted and people start.
So to summarize here, we went to the assistant salary on,
To nine flat.
to 9 flat. Also, under dues and meetings, we were able to take the $840 out because of the new cuts.
Yeah, COTS.
Okay.
Oh, and also on that same, again, slightly off topic, they have found and are working on indexing, they're going to be working on indexing the 8 years of missing. The issue there is I have to plug in a lot of information as to how things are going to be indexed, and I don't. Sharon and I literally spent all day on elections. So it probably won't get done until late next week.
Good. I'm good on town clerk.
Okay.
All right?
We're good?
All right,
Thank
we're
you.
good.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh
we got a
wait, Joe's got a
question?
question. Hold on.
Joe's got a question, yeah?
What?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead. I heard Bill and then here's Joe.
Under machinery and equipment, I saw there was a note that said, possible printer.
Yeah.
Is $300 enough for a printer?
Yes, and speaking of which, I'm gonna, and when the dust settles in a few weeks and I'm able to figure out how much I have left, if anything, in the election grant that I got, if there's money left, I do a lot of printing for elections
Beautiful.
so I may be able to squeeze that in.
Okay.
But we've gotten a lot of.
300 doesn't sound like a lot, but
But you know, the printers aren't that bad, and mine just is a little inkjet thing, laser jet, but I think they may have enough money to squeeze one in for elections. But we've got a new iPad, we've got new signs, we've got all kinds of new stuff for the election, so hopefully we'll be in shape for a good many years to come.
good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay. Municipal Planning Commission?
You said you wanted to give us back some money?
I do. Phil, we talked, at the meeting about the scribe not need, secretarial services not needing 15, she needed 1,000, right? That's what we said.
Correct.
Yeah, so we can take 500 off that. Although I have a place to put that, believe it or don't.
That's secretarial services?
Yeah, take it down to 1,000.
Maybe 1,000 instead of.
Where were you gonna put that?
I was thinking maybe Cedar.
Hey, I agree with you. Bring that up to 1,000 on the promotion.
Yeah, I think we'd get our money's worth for a change. But anyways, we can get to that. Anything else? Anything else there?
No.
Okay, we're moving right along. Municipal zoning, that's you.
Yes, it is. What can I answer for everyone?
I think there's a 3.22%
Yeah.
raise. I don't want you to go to Vegas with it, but.
I would try to save it, yes. But that's what I've asked for. My hours, I've tabulated the same hours as previously, and as we've discussed, I don't know whether there are going to be more applications, more hearings, more things going on. So I try to get an approximate amount of hours, and you take a shot, and it can go either way. It can go less or it can go more, depending upon how the development goes in a particular year. So as far as office supplies, just to go through, so there's my salary, I was asking for the 3%. Increase the number of hours, I was asking the same. Office supplies, I have to have the state required Big P placards, the cardboard placards, and 100 is usually right for every year, depending on both the number of permits issued and any other hearings that are going on that are required to have those. So hopefully those haven't gone up. That should stay the same price. And the other thing that I asked for, I need to make color copies, both for the planning commission at times, for the public, when I'm trying to print out things like floodplain and wetland information. You try and print the things in black and white, and they're a mess.
Yep.
So I've been allowed to use the Lister's color printer, and I've asked for money for ink for my usage of their printer for the year.
Is that in that 245? Is that where that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 95 for the Big P placards and 150 for the ink for the Lister's color copier.
Perfect.
So 245 in office supplies is what I'm asking for.
Nope, that's good. I got no problem with
Anybody got any questions?
3.1%.
Okay.
That's gonna take care of it.
That should, yeah. And again, with my budgeted hours, I'm hoping I'm on target with it, but it's one of those, you can't tell what the year's gonna involve to develop.
Well, let's hope you're busier than hell this year.
I would like that.
Because
You bet.
that helps us all.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we'll go with that. We're now in the ZBA.
Okay.
That
Thanks,
hasn't,
Phil.
that hasn't changed
Good
at
evening,
all.
everyone.
Yep.
Thanks, Bill.
You bet.
See you tomorrow night.
You betcha.
So there's nothing there. That's stayed the same. And I think there's gonna be a couple of questions asked this year. We might not wanna worry too much about that. All right, so back to, I think it's page 11. I think that's where we go to, isn't it?
Page 8 is
8,
Oh,
the
that-
next one.
streetlights.
Oh, streetlights, yeah, okay. All right. Questions,
I have more-
comments?
I have more, just a question. When I looked at it, what we were actually spending and the 23, is that our guesstimate with our new lighting in the park and everything, with our new, all that figured in
We've
there?
got that separated down
We're
here.
separated, so it's not streetlights?
Well, it's utilities is,
Yeah, it's park. It's
that's part.
the third one down.
So this is
The utility, so the park, yeah, that $200 increase is my best guess. But electricity, I don't know if the price has gone up, but all of our electric bills, the town hall in particular, man, we're just getting pummeled by electric bills.
Okay,
Even with the
that's what it
10% discount, so it's chewing through my budget, like,
Okay,
yeah. So that's what that is, but the $200 is just for the park.
that's for the park.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's flat funded on the rest of them.
okay.
Did they get an increase this year? They may have.
They
Everybody
have.
else did.
They asked
Yeah,
for one. I don't know
yeah,
if they
they
got
did. Yeah, they did.
I mean, I can't imagine they didn't
Well,
get
I
one.
think hard to argue with the 0.62%, so no,
No.
looks good, streetlights.
Yeah, okay. Everybody good with that?
Even I
You can look at them in the daytime, but that's it.
They're nice looking people.
Pretty.
People are compliment all the time about those.
I like driving by in the morning and be able to see
Yeah.
the whole park lit up on my way to work.
Actually, that's kinda handy, isn't it?
And I think has it deterred some of the
I've seen,
activity in the park?
It was prettier before the leaves fell.
Yeah, no kidding.
we'd have to ask the chief about that, but what I've seen, and I'm sure it's really helping, is at night, and I've had people come in and talk to me about it, people walking their dogs or people just walking through the park.
Yeah.
Way more than what I've seen
Yeah.
since I've been here, so.
There was some
it's gotta
people
be a
out-
turn.
Yeah,
This afternoon, there was a group of parents and kids playing by the gazebo, just dog, and everybody's just running about. And it's nice to see. Nice to see.
That light, it's a nice ambiance over there.
Yeah.
It is, it's very
Sense of
nice.
security too, and you're not walking through the dark
Yeah.
park.
And once the cameras are there, it should even be added sense of security.
Rose?
Right now, it's dark when I get, like this morning, it was still kind of dark when I got to work, the lights were still on. And it does make a serious difference. And just now parking there, and it'll be the same after daylight savings time when I'm leaving, because even at 4:30,
It's gonna be there.
it's dark, so it makes me feel a little bit better. I can actually see, you know, who's around my car. And,
Hopefully no one.
yeah, hopefully no one, but I mean, it's easier for me to see, even just tonight. I usually try to park by one of the new lights, and it really makes a big difference.
Has anybody noticed if there's less loitering?
You'd have to ask the chief, I don't know.
He hasn't said.
I haven't noticed a lot of people, I really haven't. I'm old, I don't get out.
Not a
I
night
don't
owl
get
either
out.
anymore.
I don't get out after 6 o'clock.
Past my bedtime.
But that's a worthwhile question to ask, to see if that's been a residual effect. Okay, I'm moving on to memberships. Unless somebody, did I skip anything?
Nope.
I don't think I did. So that,
Only thing increased was the VLC membership.
Yeah.
Did that go up?
It did go up, and after this budget was printed, I did get a new rate sheet from Rutland Regional. They've changed their, annual cost from just this flat $1,000. Now they're doing it per capita, and if we want to stay part of Rutland Regional, it's 2,736.
Oh.
That's per capita and an increase.
Yeah.
Wow.
Say it again, Joe?
2,736.
And that's Rutland Regional.
Planning.
But the amount of money we get when they help us.
That's
and we're-
exactly what I was gonna say.
It's short money. It seems like
yeah,
here, but it's short money.
it's reasonable for them to ask that.
We're
We're already in another, for help with the zoning subregs, or the subdivision regs, and the downtown designation. They've already gotten a grant for us.
Yeah.
So that money, that's one of the reasons we don't have to pay our scribe as much, because she can bill them as well for the work she does that's on the grant. So that works out. And the other thing I should say out loud is she is very reasonable about what she does for the planning commission and what she does for, well, it's the planning commission, but she charges us, it seems low, but she's
So that
adamant that's
$1,000 is really gonna be,
27,
2,700.
yeah.
It's an increase of $1,736.
Yeah. It's worth it.
But
It really is. They have a lot of resources that we have to get better at accessing, to be honest with you. And they're just waiting. And, you know, if you call them and ask, they probably have something that we could use. That would be helpful.
Ethan Pippin is working with us now on, we'll get that back and what he's doing for us in
Yeah.
economic development.
And like I said, the grant they got for the downtown development and the downtown designation and the subdivision rules will more than take care of that.
Yep.
I mean, it pays for itself, it already has.
Right, because what did it cost if we hired somebody to come do that for ourselves?
Right. Right.
You couldn't,
Right, and, you know, just their expertise alone. The next time we talk with those guys at the planning commission, we'll have a deadline when we have to have everything, and we should be done. I was hoping for the end of the year, but it's looking more, because there was a lot of delays to begin with, it looks like it'll be February-ish before we have everything ready to go for the, you know, at least to start public hearings for subdivision and stuff like that. And once we get that, we're in line for a lot of grants, and we're also, the big deal is that's where we get the Act 250 exemptions. Not completely exempted, but a lot easier to do. So anyways, enough of that. If everybody's okay, that's what we're gonna put down on the line item until we see differently. And if we don't do it, we won't be in it. And VLCT, have they, does the dues reflect it, the insurance or anything, or is that a whole separate?
Passive
Yeah.
is a whole right, passive.
Passive, yeah, okay. All right.
That's just being a member of VLC.
Yeah. Okay.
So, the
Questions?
$500 that you want
I'd
on
say-
Cedar?
Yeah, I would suggest that we put it, instead of the 500 that we do, we take the 500 from the planning that we're not using and do $1,000 towards Cedar for their promotion, the promotion of the things.
That'll help us get some of those visitors out here in
Right.
Fairhaven. It gives me a little more leverage.
500 is
Yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
she just assumed we had 500 people in town. And essentially, what they're looking for is the same thing.
It's the same 2,700, if you're doing the per capita
Right.
type of a.
No, that would be interesting to know if they did start getting some feedback, 'cause if there is some things that we could possibly, I know we can't do much, but, you know, put it in like our plan to
Well, I
make
think
it more marketable, or.
one of the things that I think people miss when they get here is the recreation opportunities and the lifestyle. You know, it's a pretty nice town, generally speaking. It's a pretty nice town to be involved in, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot out of the schools, there's a lot of recreation
Is
opportunities.
that something that we could talk about?
And there's a lot more to-
Promoting our new rec department, maybe, I don't know.
And that's part of it, that would be,
That's
I think
it.
Yeah, but I think, so with speaking with just folks about this, what we really need to focus our time on is building homes. We're direct, we can hit Rutland and all of the jobs that are going in over there, so we're a perfect suburb. Unless we focus on building homes, which people wanna move here, there's no place for them to move to. If the board really wanted to make a huge impact, it would be housing.
And kind of going off subject, we have a lot of, you know, abandoned homes here in town that could be potentially brought back online? Or are we pretty much, they all been?
it's a question, it's a worthwhile question. I mean, there's no, we talked about an inventory at one time, and, it's a difficult thing, it's a difficult process to figure out exactly what we have for apartments, what we have for housing that, and what's available, you know, it's,
What do we have for Airbnbs?
yeah. Which is another whole question.
I mean, it's,
I have,
Rutland is getting creamed by Airbnbs, for instance. They're losing, I don't know if they're losing, but they're losing housing.
right, you don't get the bedroom community that you want for, if they're hiring you over in Rutland, and, or if we were to get that building the homes at the Skyline location, where would they live? Where would,
Yeah,
if they,
well, that would be,
so I hear what you're saying.
so there are a few homes that are obviously vacant or, you know, starting to slip. And I've made phone calls and sent letters, and, but most, I don't know why people let their homes slip like that, and that just, but I've reached out to a few and I get almost no response. No, 100% no response.
Alright.
well, but it's worth, it's worth to be proactive on that and to figure a way to at least having, so you can say, you can give to Cedar, there's X amount of houses that are for sale right now, there are X amount of apartments that are not rented, and there are X amount of homes that need to be refurbished, there are starter homes for people. So we'll add that 1,000 to that, is that, or the 500 to that, to make it 1,000?
Yep.
What are you okay with that?
I am.
I took 500 from the planning commission. I don't know if you were there for that discussion.
I deduced. From somewhere.
Yeah, we didn't add it. So
Looks like
we only
something.
do that for certain things. Is that it for,
Yeah.
oh, no, intergovernment, yep,
That
which
one
is,
went down.
Yeah, you know, I was keeping it at 15 because I didn't want to not have money to pay the taxes, but it's never gone much over 14, so, I took that extra 1,000 out.
okay.
Good.
Can't complain about that.
No,
Nope, that looked good.
of course, this will be the year that they'll blame COVID or something.
That is our budget pass.
That's it for the night, then,
That was a fairly easy one.
yeah, relatively painless.
You know, Public Works is always they're the elephant, so we do them up front. Once you get done with that, it's not so bad.
Okay. Oh, hi.
Hi, my transfer last meeting was the open comment, and I want to.
Yeah, we already had that, but as long as you're here, go ahead.
I was just wondering about on Halloween, why we don't close at least Carnarvon and possibly the others. I asked the police, they said they would love to do it, but it's not up to them to make the decision to do it. And that would be a town decision.
I thought that, I was of the opinion that it was that they didn't care about that.
Every year, a few people ask, and every year we don't.
Do we know roughly how many trick-or-treaters we get here? This will be my first year bringing the kids. Usually we go to Rutland.
Personally,
It's full.
we provide a dinner that starts at the bottom of Carnarvon, and we serve over 500 people every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
And we don't serve
It's
every
no-
kid that comes through.
yeah, it's huge. I
There are
know,
people, and if you live there, you can always go through, just like any time. But there are people that just drive their car with their kids sitting out the back, straight down the middle. There are people who still choose to drive down Carnarvon to get from Fourth to the park, speeding.
This is a pretty accessible town to walk. I mean,
There, everyone from West Haven, Benson, Orwell, Castleton.
I always thought it was the police that didn't want to do that. I mean, I don't.
I mean,
know why
I'm in
we haven't
favor
done
of closing them down if it's for safety. You know, I mean, and I was gonna bring this up in a few minutes. Washington, Fourth, pretty much from McDonald's all the way up this end, and even Fourth has gotten really bad in the last few weeks with people speeding. There's been a lot of people doing burnouts, squealing tires. It's getting pretty bad. So, I mean, Halloween, if we have that many people coming around,
I mean, I don't have a bit of problem closing
Yeah.
it down, but I don't know what the logistics of that are. I wish the police chief was here to answer that.
At this point, it's not just closing down Carnarvon, it's closing down all of the side streets on Carnarvon too, right? So anything that goes through Pelkey, first,
Pelkey's
second.
one way, right.
Yeah, does Furnace go through?
Yeah.
Furnace, so it's not only we're gonna shut down that, we're gonna shut down every side street,
Furnace, Second, Allen.
both ends, Allen, High Street comes in off the top.
I don't have enough barriers.
I mean, it's possible, but then what do we tell people? If you live here, you can go through, but everybody else can't. And if you've ever been to the parade, there's barriers and we say don't go. People whip around them anyway. So I feel like the barriers will be just as much of a hazard because people won't expect cars, but cars are still coming. You know, and do I put an officer at each barrier? Now we got like 8 cops. I don't even know if I have 8 cops. It's really a logistics nightmare.
To answer your question, what I've seen since I've been on the board, I think it was closed down one time. It's been closed down. And then for some reason or other, we decided not to. But I thought there was one, we decided maybe 6 years ago to take and what they found was some people who lived on Carnarvon had trouble getting home after work because it was closed down. I'm trying to remember, I'm not, but no, you don't, since you've been here, we've never closed. Because we talked about it.
It was recent.
No, every year, what your request is, someone talks about closing Carnarvon down. And recent, I'm saying the last 3-4 years, we've always ended up going, okay, my question earlier about high police presence, that versus closing it down so people, when they got home from work, could get home and didn't have to park outside and walk home and then go get the car after, that they were going to be a bigger presence between Carnarvon, your side streets, your 4th Street, there's,
I think
it's a massive number of people, I guess.
To be perfectly honest with you, I would be in favor of closing it down, except that it's in 2 days.
Right,
And the logistics of getting everybody organized in 2 days, I won't be here next year, but to revisit that conversation in September and October, or in September, I'd be in favor of that, but we'd never get it together for, that would be effective this time around. And we haven't done it in a long time, but I understand your concern.
It's extremely dangerous.
Then we need
Extremely dangerous.
You're waiting for a child to get hit by a car.
To get run over by a car.
There are so many close calls every year.
We just need to make sure that
And
our police presence is effective.
More and more people are speeding, more and more.
Well, like I said, I see it from my house at Washington and 4th, the people that blow through the stop sign coming off 4th onto Washington. So just all hours they're just doing burnouts, but I've seen a lot of people starting to complain on Facebook about the racetrack Washington 4th Street's turned into, and it's.
Is there a happy medium there that says that you close Carnarvon to everyone except those who live at Carnarvon or who have to leave? Because you have people with the one-way street on Pelkey. Something comes up and there's an emergency and they need to leave. They either have to go the wrong way on a one-way, or they can't during the time that you're closed. I mean, I understand, and so I think there's a way you can keep the bulk of the traffic out of there and only have, so the people who come from all the towns who like to make the most of their time and drive to every house, no, you don't live, if you don't live on Carnarvon, but I don't know how to enforce that. I don't know how to tell a resident.
You could just shut down Carnarvon. You could shut down Carnarvon and call it even, but in 2 days you couldn't. I mean, just trying to figure out overtime would be
I mean,
You need DPW.
yeah, we need to get the word out a little faster. I mean, I could blast something out for a month and people will still say they didn't know. If we did want to revisit it, it would be something that we'd have to plan for a little better. And something where we said, look, if you, this like halfway this, halfway that, it's like 5 o'clock you're closed. If your car's not there, park at the park. It's too dangerous to have our cars down there. It's a block party. We're gonna have a block party. You're not driving down here and just end it, because otherwise you're gonna have people going around the barriers and sometimes.
Could we, I mean, to avoid the logistics nightmare, if we just close down Carnarvon for this year and then revisit it next year, where we had the block party from this time to this time, you can't.
I just think it's too late.
It's way too late.
I think you never get there. The word won't get out fast enough on that. But I think the only thing we can do is emphasize with the police that we need to make sure that they're there.
So
and
typically,
try to address.
Typically, the
concerns.
police.
I mean, it's a legitimate concern. Don't get me wrong. It's just.
Are our officers doing a walking patrol, or are they patrolling in their cars? Both. Okay. Yeah. So
You'll see the lights going. The police are out there and they've got their lights going. So and we got a couple of cars and we'll.
They split the differences, and I think, but.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If you have a high presence for this year,
with the lights on,
yeah,
you know, and then officers walking.
Then rethink it for future drains, you know, I just don't think you're gonna.
We might be able to get our constables to help out with their.
They usually do.
Yeah.
They usually come. So it's usually it's the chief and a couple of the officers and the constables. And just, I mean, it's a legitimate concern, it always is, every year, and,
yeah.
I think it needs to be shut down.
what's that?
I think it needs to be shut down.
I think that's true. You guys will have that opportunity next year, or this year if you want.
Great to really spend some time and shut it down, but make it a little party, because it must be hundreds of.
So a lot of out of towners will come down the Carnarvon neighborhood for Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the idea of the logistics taking longer than 2 days, when I do understand folks can drive around the barricade, but for me, you could blast it out a million times. I'm not going to remember it until I see the barricade. And then I'm gonna know, okay, the street's closed. Yeah. I think it could be a quicker turnaround.
I'm just worried about people not hearing it and getting the feedback that we usually get that.
Yeah, I can put barriers out. It won't stop people. It absolutely will not stop them. I don't know if you've been to the parades or not, but any barriers I got out here, they're going around in both directions.
Hopefully, we put out barriers for a lot of events. While we're setting up, cars will still blow by us.
Yeah, it's not a joke.
But it may slow people down and get their attention and realize that there's little kids out there, and it may help them go a little slower.
Right, you're gonna have the people that are gonna regardless aren't gonna pay attention. If we can get like Rich said, if we can get cars at least slowed down a little bit.
Maybe that's a reasonable compromise for this year, is just put up some barriers.
But does that lead to a false sense of safety? Like now I have kids like
right in the middle of the road.
The barrier says it's closed, and what does their liability look like? It says it's closed, but now I have cars driving down here.
We need to be right in the
it's
that is a point.
Because
it's not as easy as just, well, you guys know.
Right, I don't, because how do you get the kiddos from not to be
running
all the way down through there? It's not like staying on the sidewalk on one side and coming up the other. They're going across the road left and right.
If we could really enforce it to shut it down, I think that'd be a blast, because Halloween, that's a great time.
Right, so we could work with, the rec director, we could try getting like a DJ, true block party, like what Rutland does. Rutland does block party.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Let's do that. I love Halloween.
But for this year, I think we I don't know, my opinion is it's too late to do it effectively. And it's certainly too late to get everybody on board to know that that's gonna happen. But I think the only thing we can do is ask the police to.
Ask the chief to
be careful.
Let him know the concern, and ask him to do as much as he can to.
Yeah, because
and I'm sure they will.
You're not wrong.
Could have maybe asked for some outside help also, if possible.
One year, the selectmen manned vehicles.
Would it take an ordinance for us to temporarily change a speed limit for a night?
But people don't pay attention to
Yeah,
speed limits.
Yeah, it wouldn't,
But at least there'd be some
Sounds like I'm not paying
teeth
attention to
to.
that.
We'd have to, if we wanted to arrest people or give them tickets, I mean, we'd have to have an ordinance, yeah, and that'd be, that's also next year, if you know,
Yeah.
because the time
We'd have to
frame.
warn it.
Warn it, and they'd have to have, everything.
Can we get the fire department to kind of be out there with presents with light flashing too? I don't know.
They're around,
They hand out.
Right, I mean-
Well, they're handing out candy and they've got.
Right, but I mean, you get some trucks, you throw a couple junior firefighters in here, just run the lights and
yeah,
just, flashing lights will get people to
yeah, calm a little bit.
calm down a little bit.
It's worth a try, and I mean, we can do at least that kind of stuff.
Right.
See, it didn't hit radar as much, because I thought we talked after last year's Halloween, and it basically went well, and, because we usually try to process, so I'm still, okay, maybe it didn't go as well as we thought last Halloween, or wouldn't it?
It's,
I watched a man run out into a street and start slamming his kid's candy onto a truck that was flying down Carnarvon, and I yanked his kid out of the way.
so that, we're gonna have to have the police,
Lost it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then,
I don't doubt that a
And they were
bit.
not pulling into a driveway. They continued on and went straight out to the park and down. There was
Wonderful.
no need for them to go down Carnarvon.
And maybe that is just,
It's just,
if we put police, well, we'll talk to chief and see what he can do. I mean, even if he had two cruisers on either end of the street,
That's what I was
and,
thinking.
just
With
said,
the
all right,
lights
at
with the
least,
lights flashing
Yeah.
would accomplish, and if somebody
and they're,
with mobility issues needed to get home on Carnarvon, they
I
would
think
ease
that
down.
would deter a lot of people who are just driving through. for
yeah,
no
that,
reason.
right, that's what I'm
If you
thinking.
ever see the cars that are driving with 4 kids sitting in the trunk
Right.
with it open, that's not legal, even on a lane.
At least they could tell nothing.
And the people that do have to drive down would definitely be driving slower.
Mhm.
If that's possible, that's a really good compromise for this year.
Well, we'll try that.
We'll see what we
and
can do.
If that's possible.
Talk to the police, you'll talk to chief tomorrow, is he around tomorrow?
I appreciate your time,
Oh,
especially.
No,
that's
Thank
why
you for
we're
coming
here.
in.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
And it would be interesting to hear how it goes.
I'm always in Jonesy Expo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yep, bye-bye. It would be interesting to hear how that, I mean, that's,
Yeah,
Every year is
like
a
I said,
pain in the
it's
ass.
getting, the speeding
It's a
in
big
town
event.
is getting
Oh, yeah.
pretty bad.
Even a cruiser partway down that street, with the cop, with them right there, you're gonna slow Joe that wants to go 100 down through there for no reason.
Slow down, Joe.
Slow down, Joe.
Mr. Greeno caught me on Sunday. I was going a little fast.
Yeah, because you have, even if you're on each end of Carnarvon, you have Allen, you have all the other second.
Yeah.
coming
But
in.
I think, you're gonna get your most speed on Carnarvon, I think, because that's the longer stretch versus the
Yeah.
shorter side streets.
And you might get a kid coming back from practice, coming down 4th Street from,
But
you know.
that, I think for next year, that would be a
Good discussion.
big
Yeah.
block party
Well,
and
well,
get
Yeah.
some kind of
Okay.
DJ or bounce houses or
That'll be blast. I love it.
whatever.
Moving right along.
Board roundtable.
Board roundtable. Okay, I just got a couple things. Scotch Hill up at the upper end really looks nice.
Yeah.
I haven't checked out Bigelow Hill yet, but that's my fault.
Came up pretty good.
But also, been thinking, that project that we were gonna do from River Street around to Adams Street, and we didn't get no bids on that water last spring.
Yep.
Seems to be dead in the water. And we really gotta get going on that if we're gonna have that done eventually.
Talking with A&E, the engineer,
Yeah.
he wanted to wait until closer to December, which is coming up closer to the end of this year, because he thought we'd get better pricing if we bid it out towards the end of this year for next summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we intentionally didn't try again because we put it out twice and the bids were exorbitant. We're only getting like one or two bids too, so it's not.
Because the prices keep going up, you know, and I'm a little concerned that we're gonna end up getting
And we've done that.
paid more and more and more for, we don't get somebody on this to do it.
What are you gonna get for the River Street and Adams Street?
That's that storm, is it storm?
The water main replacement.
Water drain replacement that they have,
Water main.
that we wanna have done before the paving
Right.
on Route 4.
Which is where now, 28, 29?
27, I think.
27 last time.
27,
Still?
27 is the last time.
We're doing great.
But just, you know, it's,
It'll be here before we know it,
I'm thinking,
27.
Yeah, you're right.
you know, that hasn't happened, and I just wanted to see where that's at.
Mhm.
So we are still on the horizon, this is. Okay. What else?
That's all I have.
I brought it up. Just, I know the police department is spread kind of thin, but if they can increase radar presence on Washington and 4th, it really is. You can sit in my yard at any given point and you hear, you see the cars flying by, you hear the tires squealing coming out of McDonald's or Maple Fields or whatever, and people are starting to complain quite a bit. And I just want to give a shout out to the people that have been fixing the headstones in St. Mary's. It seems we have some vandals that are
Yeah, I saw that.
finding it hilarious to knock over headstones, and we have people in town stepping up to fix them, and people from other towns coming in to help too. So
Yeah.
just
It'd be really nice. I would love to know who's been doing that.
yeah.
Kids.
Well, yeah, but I would love to know who.
It's
Which kids?
it is a generational thing. Kids do that, it happens every generation. It does. I mean, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying it's an easy target. We don't have many cows to flip. And I'm just saying it happens some kid gets it in his idea, maybe, and they do it. It's awful, but they do it.
And the people there don't complain.
Well, they
No,
do, but
usually.
they do, but and then what are you gonna do? You can't really keep a cop full-time in the police, in the cemetery, and there's several cemeteries. So, but it's,
Right. Yeah, just the biggest thing is just the speeding. Washington 4th has gotten really out of control. So if
they
we
went
can,
down on South.
I know for a
South
while,
Main quieted it down
right,
a lot. So.
Washington, 4th, West.
SRO Hunter was at the end of Lewis Lane running radar for a couple weeks, or picking up some of his remainder hours. So the police department is more than welcome to post up at the end of Lewis Lane and run radar. It'd be nice, and I think some heavy presence there for a little while.
Private property.
Well,
Sounds like we got permission.
yeah.
Yeah,
I can't give it out, but I mean, something needs to be, some heavy presence needs to be done there for a while to
Yep.
get people to realize that, slow down a little bit.
I'll get with the chief and
Yeah.
get the speed card out there too, that slows them down too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually that will help.
There's also another sign they're gonna put up too, I'm not sure where he's gonna put that.
I think he's targeting over on that side, so.
I thought he was looking for it, yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
Some really exciting football games happening with our local football teams. I just want to mention Slaters take on Bellows Falls on Saturday, big playoff game. Our 7th and 8th grade Vipers program is in the championship for the Northern Vermont Football League, taking on Chittenden South, I believe, on Saturday as well. And the 3rd championship game is the 5th and 6th grade Vipers program, taking on Schuylerville, New York in Schuylerville Saturday night. So some big sporting events with our youth football programs. So
Good,
exciting times. Yep, that was it.
I'm good.
I am too, actually. So,
Ready for some
financials.
financials? Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Go.
Make a motion to pay the payroll for $38,519.83.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Make a motion to pay the general warrant for $273,413.48.
Second. And that includes a $118,445 payment to the Scotch Hill project. That's why that's so large.
Yeah, and the pump from the Welcome Center, and we'll get
Which we'll get reimbursed for. Right.
some of that.
All-
And the checkbook
Hold
status.
on, let me just, everybody, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Checkbook status is $595,083.30.
Thank you. Executive session?
Make a motion to go into executive session for personnel under 1 VSA 313A1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?